Have you ever been outside at night and looked up at the sky filled with stars? Have you ever wondered what it would be like if we could see gravity? If we could see gravity, would it affect our daily lives? Would it even look the same as the stars in the sky? Well, scientists are actually working on this very thing. And their work may one day allow us to see gravity. So let's take a closer look at how they're doing it. But first, why do we want to see gravity anyway? Well, for one thing, it would just be really cool to see. But there are also some practical reasons. For example, if we could see gravity, we would be able to measure it more accurately. This would help us to understand how the universe works better. It would also help us to develop new technologies, such as better GPS systems. So how does gravity work? As we all know, gravity is a force that pulls objects towards each other. The more massive an object is, the stronger its gravitational pull. This is why we are able to walk on the ground without falling into the earth. The Earth's gravity pulls us towards its center. But what if we could see this force? To answer this question, scientists have come up with a few different ways to visualize gravity. One way is to use a device called a gravimeter. A gravimeter measures the strength of gravity at different locations. By measuring the strength of gravity at various points, scientists can create a map of the gravitational field around an object. These maps are often used to detect underground resources such as oil and gas. But they can also be used to map the Earth's gravitational field. And by doing so, scientists have been able to map the Earth's gravitational field in 3 dimensions. This map shows the Earth's gravitational pull as a vector field. A vector field is a way of representing both the magnitude and direction of a physical quantity at every point in space. In this case, the physical quantity is gravity. The arrows in the vector field show the direction of the gravitational pull at each point, while the length of the arrows shows the strength of the pull. Another way to visualize gravity is to use a computer simulation. Computer simulations can be used to model the gravitational field around an object. By simulating the gravitational field, scientists can see how gravity would appear if we could see it. But what would gravity look like if we could see it? Well, that's difficult to say for sure, but scientists have some ideas. One idea is that gravity would look something like the surface of a fluid. When we pour a liquid onto a flat surface, the liquid forms a surface that conforms to the shape of the container. In a similar way, the Earth's gravity pulls the spacetime around it into a shape that conforms to the Earth's mass distribution. This means that the Earth's gravity would have a sort of surface that we could see if we had special eyes that could see gravity. This surface would be similar to the surface of a fluid, but it would be 3-dimensional. Another idea is that gravity would look something like light. Light is an electromagnetic wave that travels through space. When light waves interact with matter, they can be scattered, bent, or absorbed. In a similar way, gravity waves can interact with matter and be scattered, bent, or absorbed. This means that if we could see gravity waves, we would see them as a kind of light. But unlike light, which is always traveling at the speed of light, gravity waves can travel at different speeds depending on the strength of the gravitational field. This means that if we could see gravity, we would see a distorted view of the world. Objects that are close together would appear to be far apart, and objects that are far apart would appear to be close together. This distortion would make it difficult to navigate, but it would also make for some interesting optical illusions. Another interesting thing about gravity waves is that they can interfere with each other. This means that if we could see 2 gravity waves interacting, we would see a wave that is the sum of the 2 original waves. This could create some beautiful patterns, such as those seen in an oil slick. Finally, another way to visualize gravity is to use a technique called gravitational lensing. Gravitational lensing occurs when the gravity of one object distorts the light from a more distant object. This effect can be used to create a map of the gravitational field around the object causing the lensing. Gravitational lensing has been used to map the gravitational fields of galaxies and black holes. But it can also be used to map the Earth's gravitational field. By mapping the Earth's gravitational field using gravitational lensing, we could create a three-dimensional map of the Earth's gravity. But why do we need to see the Earth's gravity? Why can't we just use a gravimeter? Well, a gravimeter can only measure the strength of gravity at a single point. But if we want to create a complete map of the Earth's gravity, we need to measure the strength of gravity at many points. This is why gravitational lensing is so useful. It allows us to measure the strength of gravity at many points at once. However, there is one major obstacle to seeing gravity. Gravity is extremely weak compared to the other fundamental forces of nature. This means that we cannot directly observe gravity. Instead, we can only observe the effects of gravity. This is why it is so difficult to detect gravity waves. They are so weak that they are almost impossible to measure. This is also why gravitational lensing is so useful. It allows us to indirectly measure the effects of gravity. So what does all this mean? What would the world be like if we could see gravity? Well, it's hard to say for sure, but it would certainly be different. If we could see gravity, it would be like having a sixth sense. We would be able to sense the gravitational field around us just by looking at it. This would help us to avoid dangerous situations, such as walking off a cliff. It would also help us to navigate more easily. We would be able to tell how far away an object was simply by looking at the angle of its gravitational pull. However, this sixth sense would also make it difficult to enjoy the beauty of the natural world. If we could see gravity, it would be hard to appreciate the sublimity of a mountain range or the vastness of the ocean. The world would become more mechanical and less magical. So perhaps it is better that we cannot see gravity. Nevertheless, scientists are continuing to work on ways to visualize gravity. Who knows? Maybe one day we will be able to see the Earth's gravity as a beautiful, shimmering field surrounding our planet. Maybe we will be able to see gravity waves as they ripple through spacetime, carrying with them the secrets of the universe. Maybe we will be able to see gravity everywhere. And in doing so, we will unlock one of the deepest mysteries of the cosmos. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up button below the video to let me know. You can also click the subscribe button to get notified when I post new videos. I would love to have you back for the next video. Now, if you want to learn more about gravity, I think you'll really enjoy the video we have prepared for you next. It's about how astronauts experience weightlessness in space. So make sure you check it out after this one. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.